Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode. Today we have our final note run on Aberration, or final episode of the note run. We're going to cover the remaining notes. They're all located on the surface. Now the surface is split into sections surrounding the obelisk, so these three areas. But I felt it made sense to cover them in one video because there aren't really enough notes on each individual surface section that, makes up for an entire video. So covering them all together made the most sense. We're starting up here in the northeast. So this is going to be the green obelisk, I believe. We're starting at the entrance. So not all of the notes I take in this video is actually going to be on the surface. They're also going to be just surrounding the entrance to the cave, or the entrance to the surface areas, which includes the two first notes of the day. So here's the entrance that we're starting at. It's on these coordinates, and you can see that it has the very big kind of pulsating blue structure above it, so it should be pretty easy to find this entry point. You can see the cave is right there, and if you land in front of it, or if you stand in front of the cave, you can see that the entrance is right there, but there's a little ledge, a little step up here on the left. And on this step, we find our first note. So if we just land here on this little step, right next to the mushrooms, right here, you see there's a bunch of mushrooms here. Right next to them, we find Helena Note number 4, 26.7 by 62.5. And then the next note is located just up on the cave. So if you jump up on the cave entrance here, right here, what you just want to do when you're looking into the cave like this is turn right, go right, and it should be here hugging the side of the cave wall there. This is the mole rat dossier at 27.2 by 63.6. So I'm going to turn it to nighttime when I'm on the surface, because it's actually easier to see. Because when it's daytime, it'll be scorching and you have a heat wave going on all the time. So I've turned it to night now, but we are continuing in on the entrance. So just quickly, here are the coordinates of the entrance. So what you want to do now is you want to go into this cave, or technically it's the exit. I'm just going to call it the entrance though. And eventually, as you can see there, you can get up and out of the cave, up on the surface. So once you get up on the surface, you should see the obelisk in the distance. And you should also see that there is a charge node pretty much right ahead. However, you want to look left, and you should see that there is a rock right there. And you want to go to that rock. Basically, on the left side of the entrance here, when you kind of reach the end, you just want to hug this rock, and it leads around to a little clearing, little indentation, where you find Emilia journal number 5. I believe it's the final of the journals. This is at 24.3 by 65.5. I'm just going to move out a little bit so you can again see where it is in relation to the cave. So the cave entrance is there, and the note is in here. So if you are looking at the cave, it's on the right. If you're looking away from the cave, it'll be on the left. So next up, we are starting back at the cave. So these are the chords. You have the cave behind you, and if you look ahead towards the obelisk, on the left, you should see a charge node. You want to go this way, so go towards the obelisk first, until you eventually see that you can either go right, or you can kind of go down this way on the left/forward. You want to go down this way until you're met with an option of going right towards the obelisk or left. At this time, you want to go left. And this is the point where you just need to kind of see how far I go. You gotta just compare your surroundings to this video, because there isn't much here I can use to really give a good description of where exactly to stop. But just walk down this way until you get to about here. You see you have that big spike coming up in front of you that you will go under. And on your left, is what that looks like. And on your right, we have spiky rocks and some smaller spiky rocks. Really sorry about the wind. Can't really do much about it. And if you go towards this spiky rock right here, on the bottom of that rock, you can see there's a Diana note. This is Diana note number 10 at 18.7 by 69. I do think this one is probably easier to go to the rough area and then search it, because as you can see, it is in the open, but it's also very easy to miss and walk past it. You just need to kind of cross-reference this video with your surroundings, I guess, to find the exact location if you're struggling, but yeah. The final of the notes located up in this corner is very easy to find. You just need to make your way to the obelisk, which is pretty easy to find as well. I mean, I don't need to really show you how to get there. But here's the chords anyway. And you can see that in one of the directions from the LB, you have a charge node. And on the other side, you have nothing. You want to go towards that charge node. And when you go towards the charge node and you kind of reach it, if you look to your left, you can see there's another Diana log here. This is number 11 at 22.2 by 78.4. So I've now moved to the next entrance to the next area. So now we are in the northwest blue obelisk. So these are the chords for the entrance. However, it can be a little tricky to find maybe because of all the trees, but it does have this massive metal structure right next to it, so it shouldn't be too hard to find. This is the area, and you see the cave entrance right there. So what you want to do for this first note is just enter the cave. There's only one way you can go, so just follow the cave until you reach the surface. It's really bright during the daytime. But as you can see, once you reach the surface, like this, it's all miserable. But if you turn right and you stay near the edge where you get back in the cave, if you just follow this all the way here to the right, see there's a rock right here, and next to that, Helena note number 13 at 16.6 by 23.5. And then, if you start here from the entrance, you can see that if you walk forward a little bit, you can either go left or straight forward, and you want to go straight forward, basically the road to the obelisk. Move straight forward, and then you can see that there's a bridge to your left when you go up here. There's a bridge to the left leading to the obelisk. If you just follow the cliff a little bit right, there's a metal node, and next to the metal node, Helena note number 15, at 16.8 by 19.5. And then for the final note, you want to make your way to the obelisk at these coordinates. Shouldn't be very hard to find. You can see that there's a charge node pretty close to it. You can kind of walk in that direction. However, if you stop roughly midway, halfway between the charge node and the obelisk, if you stand here, obelisk right there, if you just look a little bit left, you see there's another Helena note that is just sitting here on the ground. There's no foliage or anything, so it should be fairly easy to spot. This is number 14 at 18.9, 15.3. I'm now at the next cave entrance. This is leading to this big part here around the red obelisk. And this is what the surrounding area looks like. There's a charge node right there, and there is a little walkway up that way. It's a little bit hidden away. There isn't like any big clues as to where this entrance is. But again, here are the chords and the map location. And we're going to head in. Now for this one, I actually do need to turn my gamma up to 1 billion because for some reason, I'm not sure if this is a glitch or if it's supposed to be this way. But the lighting where the note is found is literally crazily bad. So you just have to hopefully see, I hope that you see at least a little bit. But after you go through the entrance, you can see that we're now kind of exiting. But there is this little section here. As you can see, the lighting is so bad. There's so much fog, you can't see shit. But we have a skeleton right here, which you can kind of see the silhouette of. And if you go to the right of that skeleton, if you just basically hug the right side of this cave entrance, if you just hug it, as you can see, barely see, there is a note right here in this little nook. This is Helena Note number 11 at 55.6 by 23.5. And before anyone says that it's because it's nighttime, if I do set the daytime, the view doesn't get much better. The lighting is just awful in here. However, if I do exit the entrance for some reason, you can see it a little bit more clear in there now. If I turn it to night, you can see it a little bit more clearly now. But for some reason, as soon as I enter this area, it turns pitch black. But yeah, so that note can be a little tricky, very easy to miss, especially if you have the same problem that I do. But it's a note there, so let's move to the next one. And then for our next note, we have moved a little bit. So we are right here on the map, and here are the chords, next to this charge node. So it should be a pretty easy landmark to spot. But I'll also give you a brief overview of the area. So we're kind of in a canyon right now. There's a canyon of spikes and misery this way. And the charge node is just located above that on a little cliff. And I know I've said this in like half the episodes, but I do think this might be the hardest node to find, or at least direct you to. It's literally in the middle of nowhere. But if you stand with the cliff and charge node behind you, I'm going to circle it on the map, but you want to head towards those rocks right there. You can see there's a cliff in front of you, and those rocks are located right on the side of it there on the right. You want to move towards those rocks. And on the bottom of those, you find Meiyin Note number 2, final Meiyin Note, at 87.8, a 12.3. And then for the second to final note, we need to move to the Obelisk right here. These coordinates should be pretty easy to find. And as you can see, we have a charge node there. But if you point in the opposite direction of the charge node, so if you have the charge node behind you, and you look among the rocks, right in front of you, there's a bunch that are glowing. And right next to those, find the Seeker Dossier. The final Dossier, the final Helena Note, at 81.3 by 19.9. And for the final note, I lost my bird to get in here, but we are now in the Rockwell arena. I mean, the map doesn't matter, the coordinates doesn't really matter anymore. We are in the Rockwell arena right now, and this is where you find the final note. And basically, it's pretty simple. You spawn here at this blue platform. If you look, around Rockwell, there's these metal structures surrounding him. There's 8 of them. And the note is located on the bottom, right there, on the opposite side of us. So from either direction, you can either go around on the left or on the right. It doesn't matter, but it's the 4th one from either side. So if we run here, it's going to take a while. But we have number 1, and you can see there's nothing on the bottom of that one. That's number 2, and you can see that's nothing either. There's number 3. Empty. You can barely see it, maybe. But at this 4th one, as you can see, on the 4th one, on the opposite side of where we started, we find our final note. This is Extinction Chronicle number 3. At these I mean, I can say the coordinates, 82.7 by 10.6, but you don't really need to use them to get it. So with that note, we've taken everything there is to do on Aberration. So if we go into our notes here, as you can see, we have found every Helena note and Dossier, every Rockwell note, every Meiyin note, every grad student. We've also found all of Diana. And we've also found number 3 to 15, or number 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 of the Extinction Chronicles. But that is how it should be, because if you've done the Island notes and the Scorched Earth notes, you should have had the rest by now. You should get like 1... What is that? 1, 4... 7, 10, and 14 or something like that on the island, and then the rest on Scorched Earth. To fill in the rest of these. Technically, I should have had these, but I haven't. I mean, it's so many years since I did the notes on the other map, so it's reset. But, yeah, so you shouldn't have all of these. You should have had 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, this map. So if you have those 5, then congratulations. So that was every note on Aberration. So I'm then now going to start working on the Extinction notes, which should come out sometime in the not near future, but semi-near future. It shouldn't be too long until they come out. So until then, expect some other content. Don't really know what I'll do yet, but I'll figure out something. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.